Welcome to the Instagram stories for Friday, April 18th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill, and this is the weekend edition of the Instagram stories. Today on the show, we have first Instagram news. Instagram is releasing Blends, a new Reels feed that you and your friends can join together. You'll see Reels, you'll be able to comment on them, but only the people in that blend will be able to see it. Additionally, the Instagram @creators account will have some tips on how to use mute, restrict, and block to keep yourself safe on Instagram and make sure you have the best possible experience. After the break, we'll get into some AI news. OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT, are rumored to be working on a social media platform. To explain why that's relevant, we're going to have Ashley Coffey from the Coffee and Code podcast, who is going to be doing a segment called This Week in AI. All of that and more in today's episode, but first, here's a quick word from our sponsor.
It's so weird. This app shows that my credit score's pretty good, but I couldn't get the car loan.
Are you using myfico.com?
No, it's some other company.
Oh, you should get a MyFICO account instead. FICO scores are the ones used by 90% of lenders, and other credit scores can vary up to 100 points.
That would have been helpful yesterday.
Get the scores lenders use. Get the right FICO credit score for your credit goal, including your FICO scores used for mortgages, auto loans, and credit cards. Visit myfico.com or download the MyFICO app to get started today.
Welcome back. Let's start with the Instagram news. Instagram has been talking about blends for a while, and I've covered it a few times on the show. It is now rolling out, and to explain more, here's the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri.
We're announcing a new feature called Blend, which is a shared feed of Reels with either a friend or even a group of friends in DMs. Now, we want Instagram to be a place where people connect over creativity, and so this is one more way to do that. The way it works is you go to a DM thread, could be either a one-to-one or a group chat, and you'll see an icon on the top right. And if you tap it, it will start a blend. Now, everyone has to opt in because you're actually sharing your interests implicitly. Because what you'll see if you go in there is Reels that we think you are interested in, but also anybody else on that thread based on things like what people have shared into the DM thread earlier. It's a really fun way not only to share your interests, but to learn a little bit about your friends' interests. Sometimes it's wild or surprising or funny. And then you can actually start conversations about that content that you discover and about those interests and those things you learn about your friends. So try it out with someone, try it out with a group of friends. Let me know what you think. See y'all soon.
Okay, I think this is a great idea, but I want to highlight that he said you should only do this with people who you implicitly trust. I'm surmising from that statement that if you are watching something risque on Reels, other similar type videos will be suggested in that blend. So as always, use caution. Okay, let's move on to the post from the @creators account explaining how to use the Instagram features mute, restrict, and block for the best possible experience on Instagram.
2025 is the year of Zen, and if you're looking to maintain a Zen Instagram account in this year, then you're going to start utilizing Instagram's mute, block, and restrict features, and I'm going to tell you the difference between all of them. If the goal is to restrict a person, but without alerting them, then the restrict feature is for you. This person wouldn't see when you're online, they wouldn't be able to tag or mention you, and they certainly will not be able to remix any of your content. To do this, you want to go on the person's profile, click on the follow or following tab under their name and profile photo, and then you're just going to hit the button that says restrict, and that's it. You're done. Now, if your goal is to control the amount of stuff you see from a person as far as their stories or their feed posts, then you certainly want to look into the mute feature. This allows you to hide their posts, their stories, and even their notes, or all three at once. You're going to go to this person's profile, click on the following tab, and then click on mute. You can even take it a step further and mute messages from that person or from a group chat. And then finally, if you simply want to cut all ties whatsoever, then you want to use Instagram's block feature. They will no longer be able to search for your profile. They cannot view your account. They will never see your content. They will never be able to send you messages, and you can even block all of their pre-existing accounts or any other new account that they will ever create. And just so we're clear, this person will never be notified when you block them. Click on the search bar and type out their username and then go to their profile. Once you're there, you're going to click on these three buttons on the top right, then click block. Again, remember, this feature is ideal if you want to end all interactions with an account. And just like that, you have yourself a Zen Instagram account all year round.
I think it's really good to remember all of the various options that Instagram provides. You can mute someone, you can mute their stories, you can mute their posts, you can mute their lives. You have the ability to restrict people so others can't see their comments. You can block them entirely. You can block all there's so many different ways to ensure that you have the experience you want on Instagram. Don't be afraid to unfollow people, but if you don't want to do that, there's plenty of other options. Okay, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into this week's AI news. Stick around.
A
fresh financial you is closer than you think. With MyFICO, you can get the right score for your credit goal, including your FICO scores used for mortgages, auto loans, and credit cards. MyFICO provides your FICO score straight from the people that created it. And you can compare your FICO scores and credit reports from all three bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, side by side. Understanding your credit has never been easier. So use MyFICO to get a clearer picture of your credit in 2026. Visit myfico.com or download the MyFICO app to get started today.
Welcome back. Let's get into some AI news. The news outlet The Verge is reporting that OpenAI, which is the company that makes ChatGPT, has an internal prototype of a social network focused on ChatGPT's image generation. According to the article, it's unclear if OpenAI's plan is to release the social network as a separate app or integrate it into ChatGPT. When I first came across this news, I was very confused why OpenAI would have a social network. There are so many social media platforms currently available today, and many of them already have AI integrated. For instance, the Meta properties have the Llama AI model, and Twitter has Grok. So why would OpenAI want to make a social media platform? That's when I decided to bring in my friend Ashley Coffey. If you're not familiar with Ashley, she is a longtime listener of this show. She's one of the first people who reached out to me to tell me that she liked this show way back in 2018, early 2019. And we've been connected ever since. We've been guests on each other's podcasts. And she does a fascinating weekly newsletter talking about the state of AI and where things are going. To explain why all of these things are so important, here's Ashley Coffey.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ashley Coffey, host of the Coffee and Code podcast, and sometimes a guest host on Daniel Hill's show. I'm a big fan, an avid listener, and I'm excited to talk about what the heck is happening in AI this week with everything constantly shifting. People are having a question about why is OpenAI working on a social media platform? Great question. So let's talk about it. If you didn't know, Meta, formerly known as Facebook, actually purchased Instagram and WhatsApp in 2012 and 2014. Meta purchased Instagram for $1 billion in stock and cash options in 2012 and WhatsApp it for $19 billion in 2014, which is kind of wild to think about today. And at the time, the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, actually gave their blessing and approved both of these acquisitions. And now the FTC is really asking Meta to divest. They're walking back their decision and saying, you know what? We don't like you being a monopoly in this field. You need to sell off Instagram and WhatsApp. So that's really where we are today is Facebook, aka Meta, is now trying to ask the FTC not to require them to divest. And this is important for a lot of reasons. In 2012 and 2014, whenever they purchased these two platforms, there was email communication going back and forth between Mark Zuckerberg and his executives. And this email communication made it really clear that the whole purpose of purchasing Instagram and WhatsApp is to eliminate them as competition. At the time, Facebook/Meta had the resources in 2012 to make these acquisitions and purchases. And if you actually go look online, there's a whole list of acquisitions that Meta has made over the years that have been very strategic in terms of acquisitions and then implementing a feature of that acquisition tool into their own platform. So right now where we are is companies like OpenAI are saying, you know what, we're going to make our own platform. And so are other companies as well. And I wanted to shine a little bit of light on that to help people understand why this is important. If Meta is forced to sell Instagram and WhatsApp, that means both platforms will no longer have the built-in resources to compete unless a company comes in with a very strategic, clear vision, goal, and funding. This would allow more photo-based app competition in the market right now, because right now, the whole FTC case is based on whether or not Meta bought Instagram and WhatsApp to eliminate them as competition, which, as we know from the evidence in the case, which is based on email communication, this is exactly what they did. But at the time, FTC gave approval, so now they're just trying to backtrack that and force a divestiture. And we have TikTok also being another limbo factor here as well. We don't know what's happening. It's still on this perpetual delay. We're holding things off. But AI is constantly changing the game literally every day. And I expect to see probably more announcements of potential photo-based apps coming on the market because they're getting into position for the outcome of what happens of this case. If, let's say, they're forced to divest, then these companies are strategically positioned to automatically get their product to market as soon as possible. And with AI really incorporating large amounts of data into these businesses' language learning models, these businesses are very well positioned to lift things off the ground very quickly, very strategically, and without a massive monopoly like Meta controlling the main photo apps like Instagram. There'll be a lot more competition, which I think is a good thing. I think we are ready for something new. We're ready for something different. We're tired of this sludge, drudge, constant negativity, competition, black box algorithm, that we really just want something that we can actually connect with. But I truly do think that this will be the determining factor on whether or not we can actually have a neutral photo or social platform that is profitable, but not based on ads and not based on selling its users' data. Because at the end of the day, that's what these businesses do. They're successful depending on how long you spend on the application. The better your content, the longer people will watch. The longer people watch, the more ads they can put in front of them. The more ads they put in front of them, the more money they make. And the cycle continues. So really take a strategic approach into understanding what's happening and why right now, because it can really help you inform how to make the best decisions for yourself or your business on what to do and where to put your efforts in. Again, my name is Ashley Coffey. I'm the host of the Coffee and Code podcast. You can find it anywhere you get your podcasts. That is COFFEY and Code. And thank you for Daniel for inviting me to talk about the AI updates. I'm excited to share this every week and hopefully help you, the listeners, become more informed and confident about how AI is impacting your everyday life. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley, for explaining all of that. I think it does really give a good context to why OpenAI would want a social media platform. I'm going to work with Ashley to try to have that segment on the show as often as possible. I would love for every Friday to have This Week in AI. We'll see what we can do. That is it for today's episode. As always, thank you for listening. Be sure to come back on Monday when we talk about what the head of Instagram shared on his Ask Me Anything. And go create some content this weekend. Go make something silly. Have fun with it.
Let me tell you a couple things that you should know about me. A product manager but do not have a bachelor's degree. But actually that's factually a fraction of me. Another fraction's posting content irregular and irrationally. Still probably won't get a job at the Gram. They forgot, they don't know, or don't care who I am. That's why you never see me at the parties and events. My lack of followers must make me irrelevant. Don't have a course or book to sell to make a bag of grand. Not a social media marketer, don't represent any brands. Plain to see, don't have an agency, but I got a lot of spam. Just putting in my work without the glitz and glam. Won't catch me eating fish unless it's shrimp or clam. No six pack, no risk that there's a gym card in my hand. Don't have a full-time job, but I got a lot of plans. Stay plotting, dropping knowledge on TikTok and Instagram.
A fresh financial you is closer than you think. With MyFICO, you can get the right score for your credit goal, including your FICO scores used for mortgages, auto loans, and credit cards. MyFICO provides your FICO score straight from the people that created it. And you can compare your FICO scores and credit reports from all three bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, side by side. Understanding your credit has never been easier. So use MyFICO to get a clearer picture of your credit in 2026. Visit myfico.com or download the MyFICO app to get started today.